Welcome to the Positively You podcast. I'm your host, Jessie Larson, and I'm passionate about helping you shift the way you think so you can create a life you're absolutely obsessed with. Each week, I'll be bringing you a guest or a thought that's going to help you feel more optimistic and equipped to take real action. Get ready to push past limiting beliefs, ditch that negativity, and start showing up as the best and most positive version of you. Girl, let's do this. Hello and welcome back to the Positively You podcast. This is the first episode of 2024. I am so excited to be here and excited to be talking this week about New Year's and maybe a different perspective on New Year's and on New Year's resolutions and everything kind of surrounding that. So my first thought is I feel like there might be a little bit of conflict between the paper calendar that we follow and what's happening in nature, in astrology, in all of these other things. There's a little bit of disconnect or conflict going on there where it's the middle of winter, right? We're in that winter season. We just a couple of weeks ago in December had winter solstice where we had the least amount of sunlight, the longest, darkest night of the year. And we are slowly building ourselves back up to that sunlight, but it's taking time, right? It's one little step at a time until we get to spring equinox, which is not until March 19th of 2024 when that shifts, right? And we have more sunlight and less darkness. We get a little bit more of that. And if you're into astrology, the astrological new year doesn't start until Aries season, which is like March 20th. So March 19th is the equinox, is equinox. And then we've got Aries season starting right after that. So I think we've got it a little bit messed up here with trying to start a new year in the middle of winter. And so if you're feeling any sort of like resistance or hesitation, or it's maybe hard to get going on some of these New Year's goals, maybe we should take a hint from nature and realize that we are deep within winter and what winter is really for. And again, if we take a look at nature, it is this time of rest. It is this time of hibernation. It is this time of going dormant. If you've planted anything like tulips or anything like that, like they are deep underground right now. And that's not to say that there's no work going on. So if you're hearing this thinking like, okay, well, I'm not going to wait until March to get going. No, I just think maybe we need to take a little bit of a softer, slower, different approach to these goals that we're starting at this new year, and maybe what we can do before we kick it up with that spring energy come March and April. So while winter is this time of rest, it can also be a time of reflection, of setting intentions, of planting your seeds for the future, right? Like I was saying with those tulips that are in the ground right now, they're going to pop up in the spring, and how we can begin to create slow, intentional, manageable goals during this winter season. And you know how big I am on these slow starts and the power of these small changes in these consistent steps. So one of my favorite goals to start the new year off on, I'm going to say it if you've been listening to the podcast, is making your bed each day. It's something small. It's something that does pack a big punch. When you're doing it, it sets the intention. It sets the space for your room. I love making my bed. I turn on a little like fun morning playlist as I'm doing that gets my energy going. Sometimes I even like opening a window to just clear out this energy. Spraying room sprayers or burning some incense or some sage or something like that, just to have this refresh every single morning. And I've built on that. When I first started this practice of making my bed every day, it wasn't this big old long thing. And some days it's not. Some days it's literally just making my bed and it feels really good. And other days it's like, what can I do to build on that? What can I do to support myself? And those are the types of goals that I want to talk about right now, are these things of what can I do to set this foundation so that when spring hits, I'm feeling good. So practices like making your bed, breath work, meditation, journaling, yoga in the morning. I just started a 30-day yoga flow that I'm so excited about. It's only 20 minutes long, so it's super easy to fit into my day. I'm on day 3, and I've loved that just little change. And it doesn't feel like this big goal. Um, it just feels like something very intentional that I can add in to help support myself and build a foundation. That feels so much better and more aligned with what's going on in nature to me than these big, huge goals and these vision boards and these resolutions and all of this. So I want you to think about that. Like, what's something slow? What's something small and intentional that I can begin in this new year that doesn't feel overwhelming and hard, but feels supportive and restorative? I also think that this time is a great time for refresh and for declutters, clearing out what is no longer serving you, clearing out these things. It's a great time to open up those closets. I'm speaking to myself here. I've got 2 downstairs closets that really need to clean out. And now would be a great time for that, to clear these things out and to let go of what's no longer serving, let go of what is cluttering your life, and taking that even to your cell phones. I actually did this the other day and just kind of went through and cleared out apps that hadn't been used, deleted them off of my home screen, apps that maybe were bringing in more negativity into my life, or just not serving a good purpose, or were just clutter. They were just visual clutter on my phone with all of these things that were there. So there's different things that you can do to refresh and declutter and clear out. Also a great time to begin a journal practice if you do not have one. And if that's something that you've maybe started and stopped or fallen off or don't know how to start or where to start, I recorded a fabulous episode with Stephanie Wing. It's episode 142. I will link it below in the show notes so you can click right there. It's all about the transformative power of journaling, what that can do for you, and also how to do it not perfectly, imperfectly, how to just show up every day or not even every day or just little bits, and how journaling really can make a difference in your life. I think that that is a great restorative and supportive practice to add into this new year as we're focusing on that wintering, on that rest, and that going inward. It's great to be able to do that. So with all of these things that you're doing, I think the main point that I want to take away is that it's okay to not start the year off with a huge bang. Basically, I wanted to come on today and just give a different perspective on New Year's and on resolutions, and kind of switching from those big goals to just intentions and support, and how we can learn from nature to use this time to be restorative, to use this time to rest. And that as we do that, if we are intentional about it, that when spring comes around and we get that jolt of energy, we're going to be able to utilize that more for a time of renewal and a time of growth. This time can be such a perfect time for laying that groundwork, for clearing out the old, and for giving ourselves a good supportive foundation. So as you're setting your goals, as you're looking at the goals that you've maybe already set, and if they feel like they're hard, or if they feel like you're going to fall off the bandwagon, what can you do to make those smaller? What can you do to make them supportive, so that maybe it's more about laying the groundwork now, and then you can go big in the spring on those things? I want to just end this episode with saying thank you so much for being here for another year. 2024 is here, and I can't wait to do it with you here on the Positively You podcast. I'll see you next week. Thank you for hanging out with me again today. I'm so glad you pressed play. If you want to take a quick second to share this episode with someone you think would love it too, that would be amazing. If you're loving the show, make sure you go and leave a review on iTunes. Reviews are like magic for podcasts, and your review will help get this show into the ears of more amazing women just like you. And come find me over on Instagram. I'm there at positively.jessie, and I cannot wait to hang out with you some more. So until next time, have an amazing week.